President Sunday, let's give him a call. Hello.
Lively ho, neighborino. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I feel like death, but that's the usual. Let me pop you on the screen here.
You're a little quiet. Is there any way you can turn it up on your end? I'm going to turn it up on mine too. I think it's better.
You think
Pretty
it's
sure.
better?
I'll turn you up as much as okay. You're all the way
I
up.
kind of need you to know, Alec. No, it's okay. It's better. It's better. Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Fine. All things considered, personal life, slowly, getting better with the finances and all that. I could go on, but it's just
Your shirt. I just want you to let you know it blends in with your skin a little too well, so it looks like you got a dripping a dripping bra on underneath there. You might want to adjust your lighting a little bit.
That is funny.
I appreciate it.
Please get ready to rumble.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, thank you for the $5, Maggles. Appreciate you.
What the hell is my $5?
Yeah, I don't feel like messing with the lights. It's fine. Unless it's going to distract you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're good.
Okay, cool. I appreciate the advice, though. All right, so let's just get right to it then. I went over the video that you made. I didn't go over the parts.
I didn't,
with
so you have me at a disadvantage. So you'll have to remind me of what I said.
Oh, sure. It just seems like, well, first of all, the first thing you said about it was that I was using AI. I wanted to dispel that real quick. People know my feelings on AI. I guess I could say it till the cows come home. But there's also video evidence of me coming up with the script. So I just thought that was interesting that you just threw that accusation out there. I didn't understand that one.
It sounded like AI. So I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it was scripted. So like, I sound different when I read a script versus when I'm just talking freely.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. The script sounded like AI then. No, I'm not saying you're using AI. I'm just saying it sounded like AI.
Okay,
it might have been better if you used AI. I don't know.
I mean, I don't like AI, so even if that's true, I'm just going to avoid it. But that's just me.
I don't either. Cheers.
All right, well, we agree on that at least. So, beyond that, I guess it just kind of seemed like I got this impression that you agreed with some things that I was saying, but I wasn't saying them smartly enough. That's the impression I got.
My memory's not that fuzzy. I don't think I was disagreeing with how smartly you were saying it. I think I was disagreeing with the substance of what you were saying.
Okay, like, okay. Since you don't remember that well, I can pull up a specific part if you want. Maybe we could even watch it together. But, I mean, if you want to. But I
really,
guess,
to be honest with you. If you know it off the top of your head, we can just talk about it. We don't really need to do a big production.
Sure.
No.
Let me think.
I mean, I can spitball a little bit. Like, I think you basically assimilated, and I'm pretty sure you got this from Vosh, but I don't know for certain. The idea that gender identity is entirely the product of essentially self-ascription. Am I making sense? You say you're a thing, you think you're a thing, therefore you're the thing.
I didn't say that it's the. Well, I didn't say that it's the product of self-description. I was saying that's the only way we can intuit somebody else's gender properly. Is if they tell us. They have to tell us.
Did you say that's how we intuit it?
Okay, maybe not intuit.
You were talking. Okay,
you're
so
right. I misspoke. You intuit it just automatically, right?
Well,
and then you have to ascertain. I used the wrong word. Ascertain is what I meant. Okay.
Okay, but ascertain, intuit, whatever you like. I don't really care about that. The point though is that you're talking in a key where we're talking about a third party clocking someone's gender from the outside. We're not talking about what makes a gender identity valid. We're talking about how do you identify who is what? Like, on what basis do you use, like, given pronouns, whatever? And you would, just as a matter of, basic politeness, you would go with the one that the person tells you to use. Right?
Well, yeah, and I recognize all the time that when you go out into public, you make an assumption. I think I said that in the video. You go out into public, you make an assumption about somebody's gender, and usually you're right because that person will be presenting a certain way. And there are certain features about them that can help you intuit. The word comes up again. What gender this person probably identifies as, and you will be right most of the time. But sometimes you're wrong.
But you're making this video, or this segment of this video, critiquing King Critical, and King Critical isn't arguing that it would be more or less polite, or more or less appropriate. King Critical is making an argument about the essential nature of gender itself, right? So I don't think
Right.
I do not recall in that context that you were talking about what was appropriate, how it was appropriate to act in public with respect to identifying people's genders. I recall you talking about the essential nature of gender itself, like what makes it so, what makes a gender identity valid versus wrong. And it seems like there are like criteria that would make a gender identity valid. Like, for example, if you're misinformed about the meaning of the terms that you're using to self-describe, right? Or maybe you're closeted, or you don't even know that, you know, trans identities are a thing, as a lot of people
If you're
growing up in conservative
misinformed
households
about,
do.
if you're misinformed about the way that it's described,
No, if you're misinformed about the meaning of the term, right? So like maybe
okay,
maybe you're not aware of the possibility of being non-binary.
okay.
And so you default to I am a trans woman. Why? Because I am not a cis man. Because you think in your head, if you're not a cis man, you must be a trans woman. But there are other options, of course.
There are other options, but you don't
Yeah.
know them, so you can't possibly identify as that yet. So in that moment, you are what you say you are. Like in
Ooh,
that
but
moment, but
that's a little bit tricky though, Alec, because when I was younger, I didn't identify as gay.
right.
Was I straight?
Well, no, I suppose not.
I identified as straight, Alec.
Okay, but you
Okay, so
weren't.
there's your problem. It's like you can be mistaken about whether or not a term you use to describe yourself. You know, you can be confused about the meaning of that term. You can be at
Yeah,
a part
sure.
of your life where the things that would make that apparent or not apparent simply haven't manifested yet.
I understand where
You
you're
know?
coming from. I guess the point I was trying to get
Yeah.
across is I can't
Mhm.
possibly know that unless you tell me or otherwise indicate it.
Oh, well,
Like
obviously, but that's not.
it has to be a subjective piece of information that you get from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
of course.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And that is the
But
best way to identify somebody. That's how we have to
that's
do
the
it.
best way to identify someone from outside. But once again, you are
Yeah.
critiquing King Critical. King Critical is not targeting whether or not it's polite to use people's preferred pronouns in public. King Critical is
Polite.
arguing about whether or not it is
Wait, what?
correct. Wait, what?
Okay, I'm saying why it's correct though. If somebody tells you I am a woman,
No. You're talking about when you identify someone in a social setting from the outside, right? But that doesn't touch the question as to whether or not a trans woman is correct or incorrect when she self-describes as a woman. That's what King Critical's arguing about. So, like, everything we're saying here, like, I agree with you, but it's not touching the question. I don't think that's what the issue was in that section of the video.
King Critical was talking
Oh.
about how we as a society categorize people. So
Right.
the impression that I was getting was that he was saying, well, the reason that we do it this way, what he was saying was that trans people are ruining the way that we do it. And it's going to confuse us as to like what actually is a woman. You know, like we don't know because you can have all these different traits and still be a woman. We don't know.
I don't remember
like,
that being his argument.
Well, that's not his exact argument, but that's what I felt he was getting at.
Well, I don't
Like
think
a more
so, though.
societal prescription of why.
I disagree, because I think what King Critical is getting at, and by the way, just full disclosure, I'm on your side more than I'm on King Critical's side by a very wide
think
margin.
I agree with you. I think you are.
Yeah, sure. But there's the question of how you behave towards people in public, trans people and cis people, etc. And there is a question of whether or not their identities are correct, right? Whether or not they actually speak to something true about themselves, or whether or not they are simply indulged. That's sort of
But
like
things can be true. Things can be true at one point in your life and to some people, and then not true at other points in your life and to other people. Like truth is subjective. So, like, for instance, let's take the closeted trans child, right?
What? Can I? Okay, I want to hear this one out. Then I want to go back to that previous thing because that was funny. But
okay, closeted trans child doesn't want people to know that, you know, let's say she is trans, born male, understands what it means to be trans, but doesn't want to come out as trans yet because she's afraid of the repercussions. Okay, and so she identifies as he, him in everyday life.
Right.
And then somebody, with that understanding, genders that trans girl as a he, him, or as a young man or a sir or whatever. Now,
Sure.
in that person's head, you know,
Yeah.
they're not purposefully misgendering. So, like, you know,
I agree.
they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah.
they're just going off of the information that they have. And so the point that I was getting across is, like, in order to properly identify somebody's gender, the best way to do so is for that person, and I know that you agree with me on this, is for that person to tell you.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can know for sure. It's like saying, "Are you depressed?" Right?
Yeah.
The only way I can know for
recall,
sure is if you tell me.
Do you recall the argument that King Critical was making in that segment? Because I'm quite certain I don't. Maybe I was having a hallucinatory event during that segment. Maybe
He was
sort of
making, if I
forget about that.
recall, if I
Mhm.
understood him correctly, he was making the argument about how we categorize things in society, and you know why categorizations change
Ooh,
over time,
no.
and why this
That
one
doesn't
shouldn't be
work.
changing.
Yeah. But categorization doesn't refer to how we interact with people in the world. Categorization has to do with how we identify these categories, how we slot things, right? What sets do things belong to? Are trans women women, or is this something that we simply perform because we want to be nice or we don't want to be socially punished for not doing so, right? So when King Critical is talking about how we as a society categorize things, it's really important that you understand that he's not talking about how we in society walking around downtown decide whether or not to call someone in a dress she her or someone in pants he him, right? The point that's being made is like,
Well, it's
there
kind of
is
about
this,
that.
no it's not, there's this thing called language that he is treating as a single unity, and he's arguing essentially that
This
the
thing called
logic,
language.
there's this thing called language, right? And it's a
Okay.
logical system.
You
And
sound like you're
according to
being
the rules,
condescending. Can we stop with the condescension, please? Come on.
that's just
We're
my
just
voice. I
talking.
apologize. That's nothing I can do about that. It's just how I sound. I
Okay.
apologize.
It sounds
Okay.
condescending, just so you know.
I'm sorry. Um if you have language as a logical system, right? And the question is there a logical consistency with calling someone with these sets of biological characteristics female or a woman or not? And his argument is that there is essentially a logical contradiction in classifying trans women as women. He's arguing that we are saying something that is, if not untrue, inconsistent with other premises that we have accepted. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are, and I'm telling you why. I was telling him why it is true. Why they
Well,
are women.
what you've been arguing here, what you've been talking about here is not why it's true. What you've been talking about here is
It's
how we identify, how we talk to
but
people in public.
it's true because they identify as women.
No, it's not. Once again,
Yes, it
because
is.
because you can misunderstand what the word woman means, right? So, for example, you can be a non-binary person. You can be a person who is not actually a woman if you have the full range of understanding of the concepts at
It just
our
seems like you're
disposal
splitting hairs.
societally.
I'm sorry. It seems like you're splitting hairs.
I am splitting
Like
hairs. These are
what I
important
was
hairs,
trying to get
though.
across, all I was trying to get across is why we, as leftists, as at least I'm a leftist. I'm not sure what your exact political ideology is. I don't
Well,
want to
like
put that on you.
apropos that previous point, I disagree with that statement. I don't think you're a leftist.
Why not?
I don't think you're a leftist because essentially you default to a kind of linguistic determinism, and I think fundamentally you're just not interested in actually criticizing your own categories and growing out of the stuff that you've been raised in. Like I think you have
That
a
I've been
hostility
raised
to.
in. What do you think
I
I've
think
been
you have a
raised
hostility.
in?
No, just in general terms, I think you have a hostility to having your presumptions criticized, and I think you immediately get defensive when somebody brings up that, hey, you're not talking about this in a way that's actually to the advantage of trans dignity, bluntly. Like the idea that the essential nature of gender is self-ascription is kind of horrific if you think about it for 5 seconds, because it means that every single person in the closet, it's basically the Brianna Wu stance, just without self-awareness. It means that every single person in the closet is not the identity that they are after they leave the closet. It means that your identity is constrained entirely by what ideas you have the happenstance to have encountered. If I never have a notion of gay people being a thing that exists, if I only think about it as perversion or pedophilia, as it has been thought for a very long time, then I will never identify as these things because I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that's coming in with it. And I'm more afraid of those things than I am attached to the stuff I want to do that's precluded by my society, right?
I just think that you're being extraordinarily uncharitable to my position here. And I don't know why.
I think with all due respect, Alec, you're being defensive because I think you're feeling attacked.
Okay. You can think that if you want.
I kind of know that. I think we should
let's
just calm down. Take a breath. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm trying to be nice. I'm talking to you normally. Let's just calm down.
Chad, am I calm? I just want to make sure.
Chad, is he calm?
Let me know. I just like... So you think I'm not a leftist because you think I'm like what? Against trans kids in the closet?
No, I think it's
we've talked to their detriment.
No. We've talked once before, right?
Yeah, it was after my Jubilee performance.
And we had a big conversation
Jubilee performance.
Yeah. It was questionable, but I don't really care about that. What I was kind of astounded by is when you came on, you described your motives for going on there, despite not being prepared, as you just wanted to be like Vosh. You wanted to be a famous YouTube debater guy.
I would say closer to Hassan at that point, but you know, potato. They're basically the same person if you think about it.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, that's no, Hassan's not a pedophile, but like in all seriousness though, like you're even now as we're speaking, like you're doing a thing to try to assert dominance in a conversation. You're not gonna get it. I also don't care.
Insert comment. That's how conversation works, dude.
No,
you insert comments sometimes. Yeah, it is.
Comments.
You ever just talk to somebody? Have you ever talked to somebody without like trying to be smarter than them?
No, Alec. I didn't accuse you of inserting comments. Inserting comments is fine.
Okay.
You're fine. I don't mind you interrupting me. That's okay. Well, I didn't really accuse you of anything. What I was pointing out is that like you are trying in this conversation pretty transparently to try to assert dominance through presentation. You're not really engaging so much with the argument.
Is it working? Chad, is it working? What do you think?
No.
He thinks I'm dominant, guys. But
I don't. I think you're trying.
Okay.
Big distinction there.
But dude, I'm not trying anything, just so you know. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. I think we agree on more things than we disagree on, and I don't know why you're playing this intellectual game with me. Like, it just seems like you want something to get upset at me over, and that's why you made up the AI bullshit.
Well, not really. I made up the AI
bullshit. But it's
bullshit.
very easily disprovable.
Well, I didn't make up the AI bullshit. Well, I don't think it is actually.
You did make it up.
Bluntly, like what you said sounds like AI. Like it sounds like AI.
And I don't know what that means, but okay. Well, I guess I write like AI then.
You kind of write like AI. Like you write like the lowest common denominator of people who have sort of a passing
then you could have said
acquaintance with Reddit.
You could have at least said, if this is not AI. Like if you had said something like, oh, this sounds AI, but I'm going to, you know, just, we don't know for sure, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt, guys. You know, like just something like that. Just a little charitability, you know? Like that'd be nice.
But
I gave it to you.
Yeah, sure, but well, you don't. But here's the part that you're misunderstanding, Alec.
Okay.
And I really, Alec,
calm down.
If what you are, I am very calm. If what you are,
I can tell.
If what you are writing sounds like AI, if what you are writing does not reach the quivering heights that AI can reach, you should have used AI, buddy, because you clearly don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not trying to be mean.
You thought I did. You're backtracking.
I did.
But you're also saying that I didn't reach the heights of AI. It's inconsistent, man. Pick a lane. You can't insult me from both ends of the stick.
I can.
See, you know. You had a second there. I'm just saying. Come on, what's your beef, brother? Let's drop this. Like, come on.
Why not? Sure.
Okay. Great.
Okay. So you're making a video segment criticizing King Critical about gender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you indulge me for a second?
Sure.
Okay. What is performativity in Judith Butler? Do you know?
Performativity in what?
What is performativity as described in Judith Butler's Gender Trouble? Do you know?
No. I have not. Is that a book?
Jesus fucking Christ. Yes, it's a book.
Okay. I haven't heard of it.
Okay. Why?
Why what?
How have you not heard about this? This is like, you know, the King Critical.
Nobody told me. Now I know. What's it called? I'll look it up. I know now.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
I did. It's a good book. You should read it. It's really good.
What's it called? I'll look it up.
Gender trouble.
Gender trauma.
Trouble.
Trouble.
TROUBLE, like the board game.
Okay. Gender trouble. Feminism and the subversion of identity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll look into it.
Trans people aren't mentioned in this book, right?
Right.
Okay. But it's really important for gender studies generally. It's kind of like it's like Kant's critique of pure reason for gender.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No. What'd you say it is?
The critique of pure reason.
Critique of pure reason?
You never heard of that?
No.
Okay. What do you... Okay. Hang on.
Did I have chat? This is the first I'm hearing of this. Okay.
If you're arguing about gender, you should actually be aware of its existence. If you're arguing about anything political or philosophical, you should be aware of its existence. Okay. I'm a little bit curious. I'm not trying to just like being totally candid for a second. Like, what is your background? Like, how did you get here? Like, why do you do what you do? Why are you interested in what you're interested in? Why do you have the stances that you have?
Well, I'm a former conservative. I grew up in a conservative household, and I was pretty deep in it, Christian and all that. And by the time I hit high school, I started questioning some things about religion. I'm just giving you the crash course, I guess.
Sure. What's your question? What was the thing? What was the thing that made you go like, oh, this doesn't make sense? Like, and how was that?
It was more of a gradual process. Like, there were several points like that. Like, when I started questioning the Bible and God, that was one. In college, there was one where my ex and I had to get her an abortion, and I started questioning my pro-life stance. And then that was the biggest one.
Yeah, can I stop you there? Sorry, I'm genuinely curious about this. So that's usually a very traumatic event for a lot of people who grow up in a Christian household. You are facing for the first time in your life. Yeah, you were facing for the first time in your life the prospect that, oh, death is forever. Oh, there is no order or certainty to history or to whatever, and a whole lot of stuff breaks down. There must have been a thing. Like, this must have been an event for you, right? Like, for me, it was an event. Like, I had a panic attack one night. I thought I was going to die, and suddenly I started questioning a whole bunch of stuff, and I got really into Christian apologetics then, and I sort of moved up through philosophy and through like my university education, and eventually started questioning stuff. And I questioned stuff largely based on like associations I had and people I valued that I wanted to keep in my life, and so on and so forth. But like, these were events. I could tell you like down to the dot, like what were the steps that I took to get here, because they were super traumatic for me. I'm really curious about yours.
I was explaining that. I don't understand. Like,
continue. I apologize. I mean, interrupt.
Well, I did have some moments like that. Like, I just had one last year. You know, I broke down, and
really,
like, yeah. Well, not in terms of politics necessarily. Maybe a little bit. It was more of an understanding. I think just I had kind of an understanding a little bit more about like the nature of humanity. But I could just be blowing smoke out my ass. I don't know. But
can you elaborate on that? I'm curious.
I don't think anybody's fundamentally a bad person. I think that humanity is, I used to think that, where it was, I didn't really, but like, I acted as though there are people that simply do bad things for the sake of being bad, and I think that that's a negative way to look at the world. And so I don't know, like, I know that sounds silly, but it kind of reframed how I'm looking at other people. Like, I don't think Charlie Kirk, in his heart of hearts, was a bad person, but I do think that, in the way that he was trying to be a good person, that ended up being bad. The road to hell is paved with good intentions and all that. I guess people have already come up with this idea, but like, I internalized it for the first time, I guess.
You thought Charlie Kirk had good intentions?
Well, sure. I think everybody has, like, I don't think anybody is like trying to be a net negative on the world. They just either overlook it or they think they're doing something good.
I disagree, but I think
you don't think that there are people like Charlie Kirk who are very blatant homophobes and doing bad things and but they think they're doing
once
good.
upon a time, as a gay dude who's been with a trans dude for a very long period of time, I absolutely was one of those. But here's the thing, though. People absolutely do choose to be bad for revenge. People become
Right, but
fed up with...
but for revenge, right? So they have a justifiable reason. Therefore, they're the good guy. Nobody's the bad guy in their own story.
Well, you
That's
don't
my
need
point.
that's not necessarily true. You can deny the existence of good or bad guys, and you can still like decide that you want to make people who have made you feel weak in turn. Like sometimes,
Yes, but you don't. But
yeah,
in a vacuum, you will find very, very few people, maybe like one or two in history, maybe a handful, who like legitimately just hurt people because they are wanting to make the world a worse place to live.
Why
Like
do you
that's
think
not
you'd
a
know?
thing.
You say in history. Why do you think you'd know? With all due
Come
respect,
on,
I'm
man.
not trying to be
I'm
condescending.
just giving you a speculation. I don't think that that's like part of a
Oh
fundamental
no,
part of human nature.
listen. No. I understand. I'm not holding you to this. It's just like the statement that when you look through history is an interesting statement because it suggests that you've looked through history. It suggests that you have a repertoire of you got a bunch of data here, right? And you're like, look, dude, I've surveyed the stuff we got, and it looks like, that these the numbers. Make sense? Why do you think you'd know?
That I would know what, that there's only like a handful of people that are like that in their heart of hearts. I can't know that objectively. I don't know what's in their head.
Well, why do you think so then?
Because I know what's in my head, and I know that other people are not that different from me.
You're one guy.
And I can't know what's in your head any more than you can know what's in mine unless I tell you, right? So that's all I can go off of. And so like if people are telling me
yeah, go on.
If people are telling me that they're trying to do something good, you're not always going to believe them. Sometimes they lie. But even when they're lying about that, they think that they're doing so in a way that justifies their actions. Like they have justification for doing so, is what I'm trying to say.
I disagree. Like you may not have a notion that you need to justify actions. You may have a notion that you've just been aggrieved and you just feel like you want to get back.
That's a justification, man.
No, it's not a justification.
Yes. Okay, I'm just going to pretend that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Okay.
So for example, let's say someone like hacked your bank account and I just stole your money with the code, right? At the end of this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I felt like I lost this debate and I wanted to make you hurt back.
Mm-hmm.
I may not feel like that's justified. In fact, I may even throw the fact that it's unjustified in your face as an expression of power and dominance, right? That's what Breaking Bad's all about.
But in the moment that you're doing it, you at least feel some sense that I deserve it. That something bad has to happen to me for some reason.
Well, deserve is a complicated notion, right? Do you think that our primate ancestors had a notion of desserts?
Desserts?
You've earned this on the scales. It's the plural of when you talk about what people deserve. You refer to their. You've heard the phrase "just desserts."
Yes, I have.
It doesn't mean it's just a meal with just whipped cream on it, right? It's like it means
learn something new every day. It is not just a dessert.
It's not just a dessert. Justice is a notion that there is an order that you have upset, right? It's the idea that there is a balance in the world. It actually historically it's sort of coeval with geometry in ancient Greece. I'm not going to bore you with that. But like the idea is that there is a way things should be and a way things should not be. Have you heard of Plato's Republic?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so you haven't read it though. So I'm gonna give you like I'm gonna give you an undergrad education in the next 5 seconds. Okay.
Interesting.
After this long, tortuous argument that is completely logically fallacious, Socrates, who is a dialogue character in the Republic by Plato, because Plato didn't actually write anything as
he was a what character? Sorry, you got a little quiet.
I apologize. So Socrates didn't write. Plato wrote Socrates as a character in dialogues, basically plays that were just meant to be read.
Mm-hmm.
And so Socrates comes to the conclusion in the Republic that justice is when things occupy the space and do the things that they are supposed to do and don't impede other things from occupying the space and doing the things that they're supposed to do.
Okay.
So the general idea is that justice is a fixed order of how things are supposed to be, and you are more or less just insofar as you conform to that order. You can sort of see how like early Christians and Muslims like got a lot out of this, right? Because it's very
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so suppose you don't have that notion, right? Suppose you're like a pre-Socratic, and you don't have a notion of justice in this way. Suppose you're like Homer, for example, and you don't have a problem with your heroes like Odysseus and um, like Achilles and whatnot, doing a whole lot of like cowardly, sneaky, duplicitous shit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, there you go. Like you don't have this notion of justice. You don't think that things need to be justified. You do things because you can and because you want to. Like, do you think our
Well, yeah,
primate
but there's at
ancestors had a
least
notion of justice, right?
okay, but even cowardliness, right? There's a sense of self-preservation with that, right? That's the justification in your head.
Well,
My
it's an
point is that when you're,
intellectualization of a justification, but you typically just run because you're afraid. Nobody decides to be a coward.
I don't think that's true. I think that being cowardly can be a choice, but that's beside the point. I guess I don't know how we got down this rabbit hole to begin with.
That's okay.
I don't know. All I was trying.
Okay,
oh, I remember.
listen. General. Go on.
All I was trying to say was that I had a bit of a breakdown last year, and then I came to some realizations about the world. At least I think that I understand things a little bit better, and now I'm here.
Sorry, I was being a dick. I apologize.
Okay.
You were saying that people choose to be cowardly. I never mind. Keep going.
Oh,
It's
well,
okay.
I mean, we can talk about it if you want. I think that there are two different ways
I was rebounding to the Charlie Kirk thing, right? People absolutely do choose to do things that are vicious, and they intellectualize them as vicious when they do so. That's a thing. I was waiting for you to like tell me no, but go on. It's okay.
it's complicated, but I think that in his own way, Charlie Kirk did think that he was doing good things. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been doing them, or at least the things that he was doing was justified.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that Charlie Kirk needed to.
It's a difference in we can't know what was in his head, so it's just a difference of philosophy, and
well, we
fine.
can know a little bit about what was in his head, but leaving that aside,
we can know what he told us, and that's it.
Why aren't you curious about like what people who actually like talk about gender and actually like argue about this stuff as like their profession say? Like why are you? Because you will contribute to a video criticizing someone like King Critical, and that's his bread and butter. But you don't seem to have any fundamental curiosity about this topic. Like you don't know anything about it. Like you would find out, just to put this into perspective, you would find out about gender trouble if you did the barest preliminary research of looking through King Critical's own videos. But leaving that aside, like if you search gender, like books on gender on Reddit, it's going to come up every single page, more or less. It's like when King Critical says it's the Bible for trans ideology, quote unquote, that's wrong, but it's not unwarranted. Like it is the most influential book on how gender is talked about today. Virtually everybody else fades in comparison. If you don't know Butler, you absolutely don't know Foster Sterling. You absolutely don't know Elizabeth Gross. You absolutely don't know Spellman, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole lot of other people who are not there as well. It's like,
I don't know. I'm a bit of a lazy guy sometimes. You know, it's not that I'm not that curious, but what?
no, keep going. It's okay.
Okay. It's not that I'm not that curious I'm not that curious, to be honest with you. Like, I just see that trans people are suffering, and I want that suffering to be alleviated. And I think that you can advocate for them. Like,
Conservatives are suffering. These are miserable
in their own way, sure. But I think that conservatives
no. They are miserable. Their relationships are hollow. They are based on
you keep doing this, man. You keep doing this.
Keep doing what?
Like redirecting. You know what I fucking meant, man.
I wasn't redirecting.
Are you capable of like having a conversation without contradicting somebody?
I thought we were fine with interjections. I thought we were fine with interjections. Stop trying to do the Voss shit. Just talk. I'm not gonna eat your face. It's okay.
If anything, I think I'm more of an actual Jake clone, but that's just me.
Ooh, now you're getting nasty. Now you're getting nasty. What are your thoughts on Actual Jake, by the way? He did a segment for that video too.
Oh, right. I forgot he slammed your ass in a debate. I completely forgot about that when I said that. I was literally just combating the Vosh thing. I don't know. I like Actual Jake. I think he's cool. But besides the point, I guess...
How did he slam my ass in that debate? Do you remember what the debate was about?
No, I just remember the feeling that I got of your ass getting kicked.
Uh-huh.
That's how I remember things. So... Anyway,
your hat disagrees.
I should go back and revisit that though. It was entertaining.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess like it's not like I approach it from mostly a medical standpoint because that's my specialty. Is I'm a medical professional. I'm an RN.
Slow down, cowboy.
Trans rights.
From a medical standpoint.
Trans rights. I approach it from a medical and scientific standpoint, and the reality is. That is simply what the science shows is that transition care and gender affirming care is the best for trans people. And I was transphobic at one point, but I educated myself in medicine, and it came to a point where I couldn't deny the evidence. And so I changed my belief.
But the segment you submitted to that video wasn't about that. The segment you submitted to that video was about.
But you asked me
trans identities.
But you said I don't seem curious about it. I'm just telling you that
because
I probably would.
But I say you don't seem curious about it because you don't demonstrate like the barest level of knowledge. Like lay people who haven't read anything know about this stuff. It's like imagine, if you will, that you were submitting a video, a segment to a video criticizing the ideology of the Trump regime, and you had never heard ever of Peter Thiel. It's actually worse than that by a large margin. I just came up with that example off the top of my head. But like, imagine never hearing of Peter Thiel.
Right.
Or never hearing of Curtis Yarvin. Like maybe you're talking about like JD Vance. Like what is the ideology of the person who is under the president? JD Vance.
Mm-hmm.
You've never heard of Curtis Yarvin or Peter Thiel. That's wild. You've never heard of, like, that's the level we're operating at. It's like, imagine if you had a channel where you were criticizing Christianity as like an atheist or a skeptic or whatever, and you had never heard of Aristotle or Thomas Aquinas. That's how wild it is that you don't know who Butler is or have never even heard of it. You know, like I'm taken aback a little bit.
Okay, you just don't seem that interested in like rectifying the problem.
What do you mean?
You seem more like you just want to get on my ass about it. And showboat your knowledge. You've named like 12 different books, man. Like that's.
I think I've named one, two. I think I've named like 4 authors, and I think I've named 2 books.
Okay, I don't read enough. You're right. I don't, and I'm trying to fix that, and it's a process.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. I'm not down on you for not reading stuff.
Yeah, you got any book recommendations, man? Like if you know who I talked to who was actually
we have
receptive?
a reading group in the server like almost daily.
You know who Non-Smoker is?
Who?
Non-Smoker. Ever heard of him?
You know Non-Smoker?
It's okay if you haven't. He's not a big shot or anything. He's just a guy that's debated Dylan Burns before. So some people have heard of him. He's a Twitch streamer.
Okay.
And I talked to Non-Smoker, and we had some serious beef before that, and we had a serious heart-to-heart, right?
Okay.
And, you know, I don't think that Non-Smoker's a bad guy. I disagree with him on a lot of things. He's a bit of a tanky, okay? But I don't think that in his heart of hearts he's a bad guy. He's doing his best to just make the world a little bit better, right? And we were able to understand each other, and he knows that I don't read, and he's made fun of me before. But when we actually got down to it...
But I'm not making fun of you for not reading, though, Alec. I want you to understand.
It just seems kind of like you are.
No, I don't. I think, with all due respect, I think you're a bit insecure about not reading, because I think you know you should.
A little bit.
I
should. You're right, I should.
I'm not trying to get on your ass about that.
No, I think that's valid critique, man. And if it were just I'm
just trying to talk to you. I don't want to.
No, you're
not.
No
money, and there's
That's
no
not
money
the impression
in taking,
I've gotten.
Alec, listen. There's no money in taking you down. I don't care. I need you to understand.
I know. That's why you put me on your second channel.
You in a debate. We're not on the second channel. We're on the main channel.
Yeah, but you put me on the second channel before. A main channel content.
No, I put all segments on the second channel.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I try not to.
Sorry, I did get a little insecure about that one. Sorry.
That's okay. I wasn't trying to slight you. Like, the reason why I have stuff on the secondary channel is because I'm trying to curate my content so it's mostly intellectual stuff. But
okay.
like that's about it. Like, I'm trying to go like the sort of video essayist, like pre-prepared, not bullshit route. But look, I'm not trying to get on your ass for not reading.
Mm-hmm.
What perplexes me is that we have people. There are people who devote their lives to challenging handed down conceptions of how gender roles work, right? So, like,
Sure.
so you've never heard of Judith Butler before?
I have heard her name.
Okay. Do you know when she died?
No.
She's still alive. These
Okay,
people
well,
are actively.
why would you mislead me then?
I'm
See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm about to explain.
Me.
There was a reason. I'm about to explain. These
Okay.
people are actively writing stuff. Like they're spending enormous amounts of time making material to educate and challenge problems with how we conceive these things that lead us into destructive loops, right? Societally. And
Sure.
when people like go out and debate this stuff using essentially the same arguments that you'll get from like shitheads in like Vosh's community, you salt the earth so that when people like King Critical come out to discredit them, they can attack those guys and not actually engage with the actual arguments. Which is very frustrating for people who are trying to actually do something, right? Now, this is all very small stakes. This video didn't get a lot of traction. I think it's still, is it under 10K views still? It may have breached it since I watched it. But like, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't care. But while I'm watching this, all I'm thinking is like, wow, imagine if all of these people tried. You know? Like, imagine if you tried. Imagine if instead of this conversation right now, you said, hey, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to read 30 pages of Butler, and I'm going to show how Sunday doesn't understand it.
You want my honest opinion? You try too hard. Okay, maybe I don't try hard enough, but I think you try too hard. You got to go with the flow sometimes. You're like very like, you know, oh, here's this book and you got to know this thing and that. Like, just chill out, man. Not everything's a fucking intellectual beef, you know, like just.
I don't disagree. I don't think everybody needs to do this.
Well, I'm saying that like,
that's why I do this.
Okay, here's my thing. One of the rights champions, like the alt-right, is Asmongold. Fucking Asmongold. Okay?
I don't think Asmongold
now, I'm not saying that gives... Huh?
I don't think Asmongold is one of the alt-rights champions. I think
Conservative.
No, I don't think so. I think he's
Come on, man. You're doing the thing.
I mean,
again.
he is a conservative. I'm not arguing with that, but like, he's a fucking gaming streamer who already had a big following.
The biggest. He's like the biggest political streamer on Twitch right now. He's bigger than Hassan.
But that's because of how he framed himself as like that he was first a successful gamer.
Okay, never mind.
Right?
Never mind.
It's like if Markiplier.
The point's going to be lost on you anyway. Never mind.
No, go ahead. No, start from the beginning. It's okay.
No, the point's lost, man.
Why would the point be lost?
Why even bother?
Go on. Indulge me. Just try. All I ask is that people try.
All I was trying... We agree that he has a lot of views, right?
Sure.
He gets a lot of views? Okay, good. We're on the same page there. So Asmongold gets a lot of views and he says a lot of shitty, conservative-aligned things, right?
Yes, I agree.
And a lot of people see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. So I think it's fair to call him a conservative content creator. I think that's fair. Okay, great. We're on the same page. Okay. Alt-right, I don't know. Conservative, absolutely.
Alt-rights were specific. I apologize. I was reading you to the word. You can go on with what you were saying.
Okay. All I'm trying to say is he's a far-right figure, and I do think far-right is appropriate. Okay?
Sure. I agree.
Okay. And that's one of their champions. You know, like, I'm not saying that he's being like floated on Fox News or anything like that, but he pulls in a substantial amount of people towards the conservative side and allows it and festers it, whatever he does.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm not saying that gives leftists license or people on the left license to do what Asmongold does exactly the way that he does it or anything like that, just in a leftist way. Okay? But what I am saying is this isn't necessarily, like, if you really want to impact something, it's not necessarily about how many books you read or how much you just know about the gender thing. Okay.
I agree.
Like, one of my most famous moments is when I went up against Matt Walsh, and some people don't. What's the face, man? What's the face?
What? Whose face?
It just looked like you were making a face. I don't know.
I was just focusing.
Maybe it's just your
paying
face.
attention to you.
Okay. I guess like one of my most popular moments was when I was going up against Matt Walsh. Okay. And I did get a boost from Vosh because he watched it, and I'm glad for that. Okay. I owe a lot of my viewers to Vosh. A lot of them came from his community.
I
can recognize that.
Pedophile. Got it. Okay, continue.
I don't think he's a
Sorry, that was
pedophile,
mean.
and I don't think you have anything to substantiate that he is.
He has pictures of kids fucking horses on his computer.
Okay, well, I don't think those were kids, but whatever. So that aside, you
don't think those were kids? You looked at them, did you?
It's art, man. It's fucking arbitrary anyway.
Ooh, that's a different argument though. Were they kids or were they not?
No, I don't think they were, and I don't think that he was thinking that they were.
What about Poppy?
Shut the fuck up, man. Why are we even talking about this?
Poppy?
Shut up.
What about Poppy?
What about Poppy?
Do you know who
Poppy
Poppy
from
is?
what?
Do you know who
No,
Poppy is?
from what? I know
Poppy
a Poppy
is
from League of Legends.
Poppy is the girl that Vosh sexually harassed in DMs and then colluded with his moderators to silence afterwards. That's why he was kicked out of Destiny's community. Aware of that?
No.
Okay, maybe you should make yourself aware of that. That's a good project for you after stream is over. As you were.
Why are we still talking, man? It just seems like you don't like me, and that's fine.
Oh, I have nothing. I don't think about you at all. It's okay.
I know you don't. That's why you reacted to me.
You're not a thing I need to take down. It's okay.
That's why you tried to take me down.
I reacted to a whole video with a bunch of people in it. I was looking through and like, oh, these people are going to give sort of tepid, not very organized arguments, but these couple are going to give really bad arguments. This is the fun content. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be mean.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Bro, such a fucking dweeb for sure, man. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.